It's 11:06 on WSIC News, and you're listening to We're Just Saying with Senator Vicky Sawyer and David. If you'd like to be part of our show, 844 Studio 4. We are all streaming live on the WSIC News website, Facebook, YouTube, X, and LinkedIn. And are we still on the
Gram?
the Gram? Are we still on the Gram?
Not today.
Not on the Gram today.
That's
All
all
right. So
right.
that it's a new technology. We're working the kinks out. But Senator Sawyer, good to see you after a week. I'm sorry that I wasn't here last week, but I
Yeah.
heard the show was absolutely mediocre.
Yeah. Well,
Fantastic. I mean, fantastic.
no, I was grateful for Sam to sit in and fill your shoes. I did, though, have kind of a faux pas.
Uh-oh.
Well, Sam and I don't know each other as well as you and I do.
Okay.
Arguably, not many people know each other as well as you and I do, since we've been in political life and friendship for, 10 years now, maybe?
At least, yeah.
Yeah. So, whereas I can kind of say, like, what I think is funny about you, like maybe we talk about our diet choice or something
Uh-huh.
like that. When it came out of my mouth with Sam, I felt a little guilty.
Oh, really?
And so I want to use this opportunity to apologize both to you and to Sam for saying funny things and out loud that I probably should keep inside my head.
Yeah, apology not accepted. I don't know. When your inner mean girl comes out, I think it's fantastic. So, whether I'm the target or not, no. So apology not accepted. Sam, absolutely, you're
Okay.
a horrible person for talking to him that
Yes,
way. But,
I
but
am.
me, I'm
I
okay.
am.
I'm
Okay.
good. I'm good.
See, so I can keep the good times rolling, I guess.
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely.
All right. Okay.
Speaking of rolling, happy Groundhog Day.
Groundhog Day. You know
Yes.
what?
What?
Arguably one of my favorite times.
Your favorite holiday?
Because, well, other than Easter and Thanksgiving, but
Yeah.
I do not like the winter.
No.
I'm sorry. I don't ski. I don't find the joy. After the last present is unwrapped, I'm ready for summer.
Yes, absolutely. Do we know, did Punxsutawney Phil see his shadow?
Well, even if he did or did you realize that a U.S. Government went back in time and realized that he's only been right 40% of the time?
Really?
Yeah.
40% of the time, he's right every time. So,
Okay, I get the reference now. That's an Anchorman movie reference. I
well
got that.
done. Well done.
You played that joke on me about a year ago, and it went right over my head.
Well, I'm glad you retained. But if anybody knows if Punxsutawney Phil saw
He-
his shadow, let us know.
Well, I do know.
Oh, you do know?
There's going to be an early spring.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, so there's a 40% chance that Punxsutawney Phil got it right, and we'll
Yes.
have an early spring.
But I did see the cutest thing online. So I don't know if you've seen it or not, but it's a picture of a groundhog wife in a pink robe with a donut and a cup of coffee and rollers in her hair. And she says, "This is Punxsutawney Phil's ex-wife, Phyllis, who now lives in Florida and said that Phil is a compulsive liar."
Well, there you go. There's a lot of pressure on Punxsutawney Phil.
Yeah.
And maintaining a marriage, especially if the wife is somewhat, cold-natured, then, it's tough on him. Come on.
So I also was looking through it and laughing with my coffee this morning. I saw where a friend, Senator Jim Perry, also quoted and tweeted out, she's also started rumors that Phil's is the establishment. She kicked off a war and campaigned to replace him. If elected, she will end world hunger, secure borders and traffic problems, make education perfect, make daylight savings time permanent, and fix the DMV.
Well, that's quite the platform. But notice what she didn't say she would do: predict accurately when winter would end.
That's fair.
She left that part off. So,
That's
she
fair.
basically, I'm going to campaign and to do all these things except what the core of the job is.
Yeah, I guess so.
See,
So-
I love her platform, but you still got to do the job.
Yeah, I know.
You still got to stay in that stupid tree and concentrate and focus for a year and come out and tell us.
Not laugh at guys with very large, big black hats and
Yes,
tails that have
exactly.
been possibly drinking all night. That's my.
Oh, there's no possibly to it. That's got to be
is that-
happening.
I think
this
that's
is
what they do.
this is their one time of year.
Uh-huh.
Like the entire nation is fixated on that little groundhog that they keep. Up all year long. That thing probably lives better than like most people.
Probably.
But they've been at it all day. They have to have been.
Well, I'm just happy that today may be the beginning of the long winter being behind us.
Yes, absolutely, and also the long primary season is
Punxsutawney, if he could just make it.
We're in the as I like to say we're not quite in the home stretch. Maybe we're like in the second quarter of the overall race.
Early voting starts in less than 2 weeks.
Yes, it does.
Absentee ballot votes are already being recorded and folks have already voted. Which do you feel confident in, like, say, some of these down ballot races, like who you're going to vote for at this point, or would you want to wait?
See, I am a vote on election day guy
Yeah.
primarily because the last couple of elections, we have had instances where people running for office in like the last 2 weeks of the election,
Hmm.
it's come out they were arrested. They were felons. I mean, or, things that all of a sudden came out that, business dealings and all these kind of things where it's like people have already cast their ballots. And all of a sudden you're like, well, now what if we're stuck with this person
Right.
who this has come out who in many instances has a disqualifying offense in most people's minds of holding office.
Hmm.
So that's why I'm like, look, see, I do not set my fantasy football lineup until Thursday for the first game, and I do not set my vote until election day. That way
Well,
I know everything, every possible piece of information has
mhm.
already been given to me.
Well, I'm glad that you can now openly talk about your sports betting now that March 11th is here or will be here, and in North Carolina, you can bet legally on sports.
Glorious day. Glorious day.
Glorious day.
Yes, exactly.
Glorious
Glorious
day.
day. Glorious day. It's going to be interesting to see how the sports betting thing shakes out.
I
I
agree.
mean, because we're just getting started. I mean, March 11th is a great time to be starting college basketball season. You're in conference championship time,
Hmm.
then you got the NCAA tournament,
Hmm.
so it's a cool time to be starting. But I'm really interested to see how this experiment's going to pan out in North Carolina.
Well, let's see. If if it is like anything else in other states, betting world always figures out how to make money.
Oh well, yeah. I
They're
mean,
not like losing money, so I'm sure it's going to work out just
yeah,
fine.
As I say, Las Vegas wasn't built on winners, right?
No,
I
it
mean,
was
so
not.
the house always does win.
Well, speaking of which, since it is primary season, I don't know that you've seen all of these forums out there. Have you been to a forum lately, or?
No, I have not.
Uh huh.
I have been traveling a little bit, so I haven't been able to attend. Some of them I do know that there was a Farm Bureau forum last
There
night
was.
for some 10th district congressional candidates. You went to that though.
I did go to that. I enjoyed a high school basketball game that my daughter played. It was like down to the last seconds before they lost, but it was a fabulous game. So then I went over to see some more fireworks, and it was fun to hear from the candidates. I was grateful not to be on stage.
I understand. Well, I mean, and the last Farm Bureau one you did
Yes.
was when you first ran. That was the infamous night that your opponent Bob Rucho said that the race wasn't a beauty contest. The direct smack at you being the lady on stage.
Actually, yeah. So that wasn't the Farm Bureau one. That was, I think, the Statesville Chamber of Commerce, and I
Are you
remember it.
sure?
I remember it because we were. Yes, because the Farm Bureau one was in Yadkin County.
That's right. You're
And
right.
so
You are
this
correct.
one was, and all I remember is when that insult came out against me, that I feel like I handled it quite well.
You did.
But I do remember looking in the audience and looking and seeing your face, and your mouth was agape. You were like, "Oh, Vicky, you need to knock this out of the park because he just insulted your intelligence." And it
Exactly.
was great. It was like the best gift ever.
Oh, it was fantastic, and like part of me was like, "Wow, he really said that," and then the other part of me was like, "I'm so glad he said that,"
Yeah, I
because
know.
now I can tweet this out and put this on Facebook. It was
So we'll talk
fantastic.
about the forum after the break.
Absolutely, you're listening to We're Just Saying on WSIC News. We'll be right back.
Stay with us. We'll have more of We're Just Saying with NC Senator Vicky Sawyer after this short break on 105.9, 100.7 WSIC.
We're getting cold again tonight under a partly cloudy sky. Overnight low temperatures dip back down into the mid-30s, but a nice day, a mild day on the way for our Friday. We'll have sunshine back south of the lake. Temperatures could warm up into the mid-60s. North of Lake Norman, likely warming into the low 60s. But the weekend will be nice, too. We'll have sunshine all the way through. Mornings will be cold, down around freezing, but high temperatures both Saturday and Sunday in the mid-50s. It's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
Here's your WSIC community calendar. Merlefest is back, April 25th through the 28th at Wilkes Community College. Featuring nearly 100 performers, including Old Crow Medicine Show, Turnpike Troubadours, the Teskey Brothers, Nickel Creek, and more. Tickets and information at merlefest.org. Listen each morning to Good Morning LKN for your chance to win tickets. Mooresville Parks and Recreation is excited to bring The Great Magician Murder Mystery Dinner Theater to the Charles Mack Citizen Center, Saturday, February 10th. This is not your usual murder mystery experience. An evening of theater and mystery that will have you laughing and gasping. The Great Magician Murder Mystery Dinner Theater, Saturday, February 10th. For more info, visit ourtownstage.com. Chi-Town Transit Authority is coming to Kane Center for the Arts, Saturday, February 3rd. Come hear the 8-piece Chicago tribute band, horn and woodwind sections included. Chi-Town Transit Authority, Kane Center for the Arts, Saturday, February 3rd. kanearts.org. That's CAINarts.org. The North Carolina Gun Collectors Association Gun Show is coming to the Statesville Civic Center, February 3rd and 4th. Always remember, safety first. For more info, including show rules and restrictions, visit the North Carolina Gun Collectors Association website. The NCGCA Gun Show, February 3rd and 4th, Statesville Civic Center. Want to attend the Charlotte Home and Remodeling Show? Throughout the day, you have your chance to win tickets. Listen to Good Morning LKN, the Home Ad Show, the News Drive at 5, and the Scoreboard. Each show gives you your chance to win. The Charlotte Home and Remodeling Show, February 23rd through the 25th. Have an event you would like to tell people about? Yard sales, estate sales, and everything in between? Visit WSICnews.com and click on events to submit your event today.
Now more We're Just Saying with North Carolina Senator Vicky Sawyer on 105.9, 100.7 WSIC.
Welcome back to We're Just Saying on WSIC News Radio with Senator Vicky Sawyer and David. If you'd like to be part of our show, 844 Studio 4. We are still streaming live on the WSIC News website, social media, YouTube, Facebook, X, LinkedIn, not the Gram. If you're looking for us on the Gram, venture over to the Book of Faces or X.
Yes.
But
Okay. So right at the break, I was grateful to get some water, and you witnessed something that's pretty embarrassing.
So, yeah, I mean, honestly, it looked like you dislocated your hip getting out of the chair. I mean, I was a little worried. It was just like, this type thing.
This getting older stuff is not for the weak.
It is not.
It is not. I just, all of a sudden, like, my hip hurts now.
Yeah, I went to bed feeling fine last night, and then like 2 o'clock in the morning, I woke up with my right ankle throbbing, my tendonitis, because, obviously all the walking that I apparently did yesterday. It's like I'm hobbling all over the place today. It's just like I'm falling apart.
We're gonna have to get some younger people in our lives so we can like keep up, right? Or do something, because I'm falling apart, man.
I just don't even. Honestly, I think I'm past help. I really do. It's over. It's over.
Well, speaking about past help, and something you and I've talked about is the forum.
Yes.
And now, obviously, we get a lot of talk and a lot of talking heads at the national level saying, well, Trump didn't go to the debate, or, Biden didn't go to a debate. When last election cycle, Senator Ted Budd, he didn't openly debate. But we still have that tradition at the local level and the congressional level. But as a candidate, it's really a weird thing to go to when you go to those, right?
It is. It's one of those things, and you and I were kind of talking about a little bit during the break. It's one of those things where you can absolutely knock it out of the park. You can have the greatest answers that anyone ever gave in any forum ever, and it is likely to have very little impact on the race, because the people who attend are generally party insiders that have made up their mind, or family and friends supporting their relative candidate who is there. There are very few actual undecided people who go to these things, and so that you can knock it out of the park and it cannot move the needle, but you can mess up and it can absolutely just reverberate. And I think that's why you see a lot of people who don't, especially if they got commanding leads in polling and stuff like that, their opponent really doesn't have much of a shot, tend to not go to those things, mainly because it can only hurt you at a certain point. Yeah.
And I guess it's different now because, I think back in history was the Lincoln Douglas debates. And I think that kind of, stems from that type of like actual ideological debate. But like last night when I was watching, one of the candidates basically like read notes, like prepared speechwriter wrote, I'd assume it was a prepared speechwriter, and they read from that. And I thought, well, I mean, who did your homework for you? Was that from you, or is that
so you just read the whole thing?
Like literally started, the moderator asked the question. Oh, it was Pat Harrigan. So the moderator asked the question. he looked at the audience and then just started reading. And then, like, to me, it reminded me of a 10th grader doing a book report in front of the in front of the class, because I don't want you to. I kind of want to hear what you have off the cuff, and if not prepared, and I want to know what you feel in your heart about things and how you're gonna do that. And then, to the point of, like, we're just electing more swamp creatures.
Mhm.
Like, isn't you're being prepared to say something that someone wrote for you, or maybe you wrote it, but if you can't think off the fly, then how are you going to make good decisions when you need to at the time that's needed?
No, 100%. And I think, most people, I think, want to see a candidate have a command of the issues,
Right.
a command of, the things that are impacting their district, their area, whatever. But they want to know that there's a mind at work and has thought these things through. And again, not everybody's a great public speaker.
Correct.
And I get that.
Yeah,
And
fair.
I totally understand. But coming up there and just reading verbatim what was given to you on a note card, it's, in my mind, it's not a good look. Primarily
Right.
because it's just kind of like, okay, well, I know what someone who wrote this for you thinks,
Yeah.
and I know what maybe you wrote. Maybe you did write this down.
Yeah.
Let's give you the benefit of the doubt. I still don't come away actually knowing that you have a command of this issue,
Yeah.
and that I should put my trust in you to go and represent me.
Yeah.
And with all these major issues going around, if you can't speak freely, and I mean, you don't have to recite every statistic known to man,
Sure.
but at
Right.
least give me a flavor
Right.
that you understand the issues and how it impacts your district.
Yeah. Agreed. What would be your favorite forum? Like, just like two people going at it, like Hillary and Trump did, or where he followed her around the stage. Remember, creepily
I
following her
do
around the
remember
stage,
that. I do
like a
remember that.
town hall like that, or do you? When I'm talking about the locals, like, what would you see as a forum? I've seen it
Um,
both ways. I've seen it when all the candidates are on stage, and then that's kind of a mess because you can't hear what people are trying to say because they talk over each other.
Yeah.
Last night, each candidate had their own time, which was nice, but there wasn't a back and forth, so there's a little miss there. I mean, what is the right forum? But and then again, is anybody even watching when you do it?
Well, that's fair. I mean, I think more people would watch if they were less, because here's the thing. I want to see, I love the presidential debates.
Mhm.
Especially especially in the back and forth,
Mhm.
where
Yeah.
candidates should be
Yeah.
able to challenge each other. I
Right.
mean, you spend, all the candidates spend a lot of time, a lot of money out there putting their points of view out and everything like that. And 9 times out of 10, they're in an environment where they are not challenged.
Right.
Inside of a forum, inside of a debate, that is the opportunity for each candidate to look each other in the eye and challenge them on what they think and differentiate themselves from everybody else.
Yeah.
And in a district like ours, I think that's critical
Right.
because anybody running in a Republican primary is a conservative.
Right.
All of them will say they are conservative. All of them will be against tax increases.
Right.
All of them will be
Yeah,
against government
right.
spending. There's nothing that differentiates them.
Mhm.
Now, in this race, obviously there's a differentiating factor for, between Harrigan and the other candidates because he ran somewhere else. So there's actually some things he has said
Right.
that run counter to obviously to what this district is. But overall, a lot of these candidates just come in and they say what they know people
Right.
want to hear, and there's nothing that sets them apart.
Well, interesting enough, I was sent a video of our superintendent, Catherine Truitt, last night at I guess it wasn't really a debate, but it was where her opponent was speaking and then she was speaking. And to Superintendent Truitt's credit, unfortunately, the opponent is just saying lies,
Mhm.
like lies about the record, lies about what she's saying, and it is absolutely disingenuous what she's saying. And so Superintendent Truitt apparently had enough, and she goes, "You're lying." Like you hear
Good for
her
her.
voice from the crowd when this lady is sitting there saying things that are just not true about Superintendent Truitt and what she's done. And I was like, they were throwing off on it like she was unhinged. And I was like, no, she's showing she's a fighter, and
Mhm.
she's showing that she will not stand by while you sit there and continue to take credit for things that you simply did not do. I mean, Superintendent Truitt really stood hand in hand with me and the other supporters of the Women in Sports bill, and she was really marvelous in helping us craft and advocate. She came to committee meetings. She worked with the room. She called other legislators to make sure that the language in that bill was correct. I mean, she has worked so hard on bringing everybody together, even though they may not have similar opinions. I think that's good, especially when it comes to education. And she has to fight a school board that is all Governor Cooper appointees. So it's not like anybody who can come in and make sweeping changes to arguably the largest department in state government, or one of the largest departments in state government, just because she was elected with a title. I mean, there are nuances that she has to navigate through in order to make substantial changes. I mean, she's instrumental in helping with letters and really been a great superintendent for North Carolina. And good for her for, I mean, good for her for standing up, and putting a little, sauce in that race, because otherwise it was ho hum and drum a little bit. But totally supportive of Catherine Truitt, and I hope to see her win this primary election.
Yeah, no, absolutely. She has been a fantastic superintendent, and I think I'm of the opinion people want to see candidates defend themselves, defend their record, defend their points of view. I mean, the moment that I've thought back in I guess 2016 that Donald Trump could actually win the Republican primary, because prior to that it was like, oh, ha ha, Donald Trump, yada yada, sideshow. They're all on stage. I think there's 12 or 13 of the Republican nominees, and all of them are taking turns hitting him for the fact that he gave to Democrats.
Right.
You've donated politically to Democrats.
Right.
You've donated politically to Democrats. And when it finally came around to his turn, he said, of course I donate to Democrats because they do what I say when I give them money, and so do you all. And it was just like, okay. And like,
conversation shut down.
It shuts down because it's like, I live in New York. Of course I give Democrats money. That's all that get elected, but they do what I say when I do it.
Yeah.
And it was just like, I mean, that was the moment when I was like, that is going to resonate with people.
Right.
People are going to look at that, because people largely have they're just fed up. Sure. With the federal government, the way things work and everything like that. When I heard that, I was like, yep, all right. This is no longer a joke. This is like, that will resonate with you. And you saw it did consistently all throughout. And then thus we had President Trump.
And it looks like we're going to have him at the top of the ballot again this year. I mean, we'll talk a little bit more about this after the break, but polling looks pretty strong for the ex-president.
It does. And it's funny because it depends on the poll you read. Because, there was a poll yesterday that had Biden up. There was a poll today that showed Trump up. Both of them, pretty much same, structure, it seemed like, registered voters, not likely voters. But which is pretty well all you get polling right now on. But one was leading, the other wasn't. And I think it's, sort of emblematic, I think, and we'll talk about this on the other side of the break, about, just I don't think anyone other than maybe some core groups and stuff like that. I think there's a core group of people that are excited about the prospect of Donald Trump being back again on the ballot. I think there's other people that are kind of like, oh man, really again? And I think I don't know, I'd be shocked if there's any Democrats that are like, oh gosh, we are stoked for Joe Biden on this. Like, how can you possibly be? I mean, I don't see how it's possible.
There was like this, I saw again Twitter. I spent too much time, I guess, on X, excuse me. And there was an undercover video of a White House operative that was talking about how Joe's mental capacity is really, really bad, and they don't know what to do about Kamala because they don't want to remove her. And he was like lamenting, almost crying in his cornflakes about how terrible the top of the Democratic ticket is. And it seems like that is the swing states who are going to decided Trump is leading. I mean, and that's like, Arizona is usually a swing state, North Carolina, Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. And for the most of those, Trump is ahead in those swing states.
Yeah, it is. It's really going to be interesting to see how that shakes out. Of course, I still have a theory that Joe Biden, regardless, will not be. It will change at the convention. I have that theory. It will change at convention.
I do too.
You're listening to We're Just Saying on WSIC News Radio. We'll be right back.
There's more We're Just Saying with North Carolina Senator Vicki Sawyer on the way from 105.9, 100.7 WSIC.
We're getting cold again tonight under a partly cloudy sky. Overnight low temperatures dip back down into the mid-30s, but a nice day, a mild day on the way for our Friday. We'll have sunshine back south of the lake. Temperatures could warm up into the mid-60s. North of Lake Norman, likely warming into the low 60s. But the weekend will be nice, too. We'll have sunshine all the way through. Mornings will be cold, down around freezing, but high temperatures both Saturday and Sunday in the mid-50s. It's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
Hi, this is Susan. I'm excited to let you know that Lake Mountain Coffee is now available for private events. Our beautiful historic building with its 360-degree mezzanine has hosted many private parties, catered diners, and even an actual wedding. please contact Andy at 704-252-1886 for more information. Thank you so much.
Hello, everyone. This is Joshua Doby, president of North Main Financial Group. At North Main Financial Group, we move to where you need us. Investment management, insurance planning, and estate strategies. No two people are the same, so we customize our planning based upon your needs. Reach out to us at northmainfinancial.com. That's northmainfinancial.com.
Happening now at Randy Marion Ford Chevrolet in Statesville.
You know Randy Marion is always the place to buy your new or pre-owned car, truck, or SUV, but how about Randy Marion wants to buy your car? If you have an extra vehicle sitting in your driveway today, come bring them to Randy Marion Chevrolet stores in Statesville. We want to buy it. We will give you top dollar, give you what you're looking for, and get rid of that extra car in the driveway. Come see us today, Randy Marion Chevrolet in Statesville and Randy Marion Ford Lincoln.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Big Oil opening their books today as Chevron beat earnings estimates and raised dividends by nearly 8% after posting record oil and natural gas production. ExxonMobil also surpassing earnings forecasts for the first time in 3 quarters. Adjusted fourth quarter earnings were 26 cents per share higher than the Bloomberg consensus. The Wall Street Journal reports that Intel is delaying the construction of a $20 billion chip manufacturing project in Ohio due to the slow rollout of government grant money as well as market challenges. The facility to make advanced semiconductors is now not expected to be completed till late 2026. Visa says it blocked $40 billion worth of suspected fraud over the past year. That's an increase of around $17 billion from the previous year. Just in December, the San Francisco-based payment company says blocked transactions increased 450% year over year. Visa says over the past 5 years, it has spent $10 billion on technology upgrades, including anti-fraud capabilities. I'm Dan Schwartzman, Bloomberg Radio.
It's We're Just Saying with North Carolina Senator Vicky Sawyer on 105.9, 100.7 WSIC. Local starts here.
Welcome back to We're Just Saying on WSIC News Radio with Senator Vicky Sawyer and David. Like to be part of our show, 844 Studio 4. We are still streaming live on WSIC News website, Facebook, YouTube, X, and LinkedIn. So just before the break, obviously we were talking about the polls coming out. So
Yeah.
there's been a Quinnipiac. Is that how you say it? Anyway, there's this Q firm that's pretty prevalent in polling.
I'm impressed you even tried that. I mean,
Well,
that's a pretty
I'm
tough.
a gamer. I'm a gamer.
I
I'll give it
know.
a try.
I mean, you are a radio professional, as you always remind us. So
You
I'm
know,
surprised that you.
I have received ridicule
I
for
know you
saying
have.
that I say that too much.
I was
so,
there.
You were there. It
I
was
heard the- I heard
hurt
the
my
ridicule.
heart just a little bit. So I have made it a point to refrain from emphasizing
So I'm picking
my radio professionalism.
So I'm picking up where you left off.
Exactly.
For
Thanks
a
a
special
lot.
someone who listens to the show every week. Well, shout out to him.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But so the Quinnipiac polls showed President Biden up. I believe it showed him up by about 6 points or 5 points on
What
Donald Trump.
echo
And then
chamber
and
to
then I know. And then there's a CNN poll that was released about the same time that shows Trump up 6 points.
Yeah.
So basically almost polar opposite findings of each other.
Right.
And so it's really interesting to see, but I mean, Trump is the presumptive nominee at this
Sure.
point, right? I know that there's a lot of
Oh.
frustration with people that Nikki
About
Haley,
your girl?
well, about the fact that Nikki Haley is still staying in the race, and everything like that. But here's the thing:
Okay.
there have been 3 primaries. Okay. For the same reason that I don't vote until election day
Yeah.
is the same reason why it's not time for her to get out of this race.
Okay.
Okay. Because anything can happen.
Okay.
There's any number of things that could happen to where Donald Trump would end up not being the nominee.
Yeah.
Now, are they likely? Probably not.
Mhm.
But at least that when there's only been 3 primaries so far,
Yeah.
I mean, I get why people are
Sure.
saying it, but there's no reason to
In
right now.
relatively small states.
Yes, exactly. And
Right.
so, my thing is that get to Super Tuesday, get through that. If you're just like, if it's done and done, then okay, yeah, then. But I've always wanted people to stay till Super Tuesday.
Okay,
I
so-
just feel like people should stay till Super Tuesday.
I want to jog down our conspiracy theory path.
Ooh, I love this.
You love it?
I love it.
All right. So we've talked about this before, but I'm forever or even more intrigued with the idea that President Biden will not make it to the general election, like at the end. When is the Democratic caucus?
So the national conventions are always in the summer, I believe.
In the summer.
Yeah. So I think honestly, my theory is that the idea was to keep him on the ballot, isolate everybody out to clear the field. It will get to convention, and he will decide he's not going to run. And at that point in time,
Then
it'll be to the delegates, and they will bring in somebody. It will not be Kamala Harris.
What about Gavin Newsom? You think it'd be Gavin Newsom?
So I don't know that it would be Gavin Newsom because he's universally unlikable.
Ooh, RFK.
No.
Do you think they'll pull him back in the fold?
Nah, because
he's pretty popular.
He is, but he's in that independent crowd, and he's sort of like, gone against my theory, Michelle Obama.
No.
That's my theory.
No.
That's my theory.
No.
Because you're going to bring in somebody who contrasts against Trump.
Yeah.
Someone who is likable, someone who has a high approval rating, stuff like that. And somebody who has not actually been in direct political office would be very appealing to people. And plus, all the voters that Trump did bad with in the last election would move her way. I would think my theory is her. I mean, I could be completely off on that, but
we need to put this in our conspiracy theory box. Yes, we haven't moved that from the old studio, but now we should make it to the new studio and do our box of conspiracy theories. And when it happens, we can say you heard it here first.
Exactly, and that
but
may
Michelle
never happen.
Obama,
but I think someone like her. I mean, it's tough to say who it would be. I do believe it would be a woman. I 100% believe it would be a woman.
Because that would pull away, and that's where Trump is weak.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think if you gave someone who was if you had a more moderate woman running in that seat, somebody who was solid, I feel like that's the route they would go.
Okay, all right.
Or maybe Roy Cooper.
Oh, we could have
maybe
our
Roy
own...
Cooper.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe you never know.
I mean, he did split the ticket, and people in North Carolina voted. And North Carolina is a swing state.
Yes, it is.
And they obviously last time I witnessed it myself, where I saw ballots that were marked with Trump and Cooper.
Yep.
Which, okay, I don't know where your head's at, but good for you. That's your vote, your choice. Maybe so.
But the thing is, Roy Cooper is not a threatening Democrat.
Correct.
He's not a far left ideologue. At least not outwardly. On the surface, he's not. And so he plays very well.
Yeah.
To more moderate.
Almost a John Edwards-ish.
Yes, very well. Minus the smarminess. Because but at the end of the day, he plays well. He's not scary, and to a lot of people, and so somebody might, and Democrats historically had a lot of success with Democratic Southern governors.
Well, speaking of governors, we do have some fundraising numbers in.
The fundraising reports are out,
and I would like to say that I actually went through all of these campaign reports to give you this news, but I will say that thank you to the cast and crew of Do Politics Better. I was listening to your podcast yesterday, and this is their research, so thank you for allowing me to kind of use that. So it looks like that for our governor in North Carolina's race, the two front runners are Josh Stein on the Democrat side and Mark Robinson on the Republican side. And Stein is just killing it with the money.
Really?
Killing it.
What are we looking at?
$11.5 million on hand. And last year was 5.7 million raised.
Wow. That's a huge. Now, what does Robinson have on cash?
So Mark Robinson has 4.3 million on hand and raised 3.4.
So Stein has close to 3 times what he has in the bank.
And so this is what is interesting, but then also throw these numbers aside as well. Because we all know that the independent expenditures are really where the money comes. And remember, independent expenditures are those organizations who can accept corporate donations, who cannot collude or talk to or have any connection to the candidate, but can advocate for the candidate or advocate against a candidate. And so that's when you'll see, I saw a Gray Mills ad and I thought it was a really good ad. And at the end of it, it says, "I'm Gray Mills and I approve this ad." Well, that means that Gray Mills' campaign absolutely was responsible and shot that ad, and that's them. But you may see some other Gray Mills ads out there that you won't see him say, "I'm the candidate and I approve this ad," because those are coming from other outside groups that are doing these things. And so we're hearing that this governor's race is going to be one of the most expensive governor races like in the United States.
You know, it's amazing the amount of money that has flooded into North Carolina
I don't like
the last
it.
several elections.
I don't like it.
I mean,
I don't like
from all over the place.
I don't like it. I do not like the fact that these big DC firms and congressional candidates, this is not against you, it's just me talking. I don't like the fact that these big outside conglomerates who are picking our congressional candidates through their money, and using what hundreds of millions of dollars to support certain congressional candidates over the others, because then when they get to DC, aren't they going to be beholden to those groups?
I mean,
that's kind of like I get the game. I understand that you don't want to turn down that money. I understand that it's a big deal when you get those endorsements, but then who is that person really going to have to answer to?
well, and I think that's, I think that, that is an absolutely fair, concern.
I know it's
Where
touchy
there's-
because it's the way
Well,
the game is played now.
It is.
And you can't not, it's kind of like economic incentives for North Carolina. You cannot attract and retain businesses if you, as a government, do not provide economic incentives for these large companies. So,
Right.
as a candidate for Congress, you cannot really win unless you attract and retain these endorsements. I mean, and that's the way it works,
It is
right?
the way it works.
But it's just, if I had my brother, I'm serious.
After banning signs in the right of way.
After banning signs in the right of ways and electioneering at polling locations, I would put a cap on congressional spend and eliminate outside money and let the candidates go at it and just go back to old school politics. Go meet and greet and grassroots and hang out and go to the barbecues, and that's how people get to know you, and not through billion-dollar ads and stuff.
Well, and I think that, at the end of the, in an ideal world,
That would work. It's just not gonna
that
ever
would be it.
happen.
But when you think about who benefits from, those outside groups and those monies, right? Okay, it's not just candidates or the IE's causes. It's the stations that charge for the time for those things to be aired. It's the print companies that print their mail, and the mail houses that rack them up and send them out, and the postage that goes on it. There is an entire industry based on this, built around it, billions of dollars.
And
based around
Republicans,
it.
we should be a little upset with that, because I don't remember any really positive articles about Republicans coming out of most of the legacy news media, like talking about print and
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like every time I read the opinion page of maybe the Raleigh News and Observer, it's not really great for Republicans,
No.
and yet we're spending millions of dollars with these, establishment organizations. I think it'd be kind of cool if we could cap. I know that's not popular. I know I'm going to get skewered about this, but it just, I don't know. I just maybe yearn for yesteryear when it comes to grassroots politics.
You're old school that way.
I
get
am
it.
old
You're
school that way. I am.
But I think I think at the end of the day, it stinks. But those are like you noted earlier. That's the rules of the game.
It is.
And if a candidate wants to win, they have to play by the same rules as everybody else. Play on the same field that everybody plays.
We do have a few candidates that won the rated X section, by the way.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So we have a couple to pick from.
After the break, we have a couple to pick on, and this one's going to be a little tough.
Really?
It's succinct.
Do I need my?
No, I'm going to need you to help me through this one. I don't think
Okay.
I can do it.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Well, now I'm a little scared
Okay.
because contrary to popular, I did not get a preview of all these.
Okay, we'll see how it works out.
We'll have to see how we do on the fly.
Okay.
You're listening to We're Just Saying on WSIC News Radio.
We'll return with more of NC Senator Vicky Sawyer, and We're Just Saying after this short break on 105.9, 100.7 WSIC.
We're getting cold again tonight under a partly cloudy sky. Overnight low temperatures dip back down into the mid-30s, but a nice day, a mild day on the way for our Friday. We'll have sunshine back south of the lake. Temperatures could warm up into the mid-60s. North of Lake Norman, likely warming into the low 60s. But the weekend will be nice, too. We'll have sunshine all the way through. Mornings will be cold, down around freezing, but high temperatures both Saturday and Sunday in the mid-50s. It's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
Here's your WSIC community calendar. Merlefest is back, April 25th through the 28th at Wilkes Community College. Featuring nearly 100 performers, including Old Crow Medicine Show, Turnpike Troubadours, the Teskey Brothers, Nickel Creek, and more. Tickets and information at merlefest.org. Listen each morning to Good Morning LKN for your chance to win tickets. Mooresville Parks and Recreation is excited to bring The Great Magician Murder Mystery Dinner Theater to the Charles Mack Citizen Center, Saturday, February 10th. This is not your usual murder mystery experience, an evening of theater and mystery that will have you laughing and gasping. The Great Magician Murder Mystery Dinner Theater, Saturday, February 10th. For more info, visit ourtownstage.com. Chi-Town Transit Authority is coming to Kane Center for the Arts, Saturday, February 3rd. Come hear the 8-piece Chicago tribute band, horn and woodwind sections included. Chi-Town Transit Authority, Kane Center for the Arts, Saturday, February 3rd. kanearts.org. That's CAINarts.org. The North Carolina Gun Collectors Association Gun Show is coming to the Statesville Civic Center, February 3rd and 4th. Always remember, safety first. For more info, including show rules and restrictions, visit the North Carolina Gun Collectors Association website. The NCGCA Gun Show, February 3rd and 4th, Statesville Civic Center. Want to attend the Charlotte Home and Remodeling Show? Throughout the day, you have your chance to win tickets. Listen to Good Morning LKN, the Home Ad Show, the News Drive with 5, and the Scoreboard. Each show gives you your chance to win. The Charlotte Home and Remodeling Show, February 23rd through the 25th. Have an event you would like to tell people about? Yard sales, estate sales, and everything in between? Visit WSICnews.com and click on events to submit your event today.
Now back to We're Just Saying with North Carolina Senator Vicki Sawyer on 105.9, 100.7 WSIC.
Welcome back to We're Just Saying on WSIC News Radio with Senator Vicki Sawyer and David. Like to be part of our show, 844 Studio 4. We are still streaming live on the WSIC News website, YouTube, Facebook, X, and LinkedIn. So before we get into Rated X, got a couple of quick hits
Yeah, we do.
that you had that we wanted to go through. First, North Carolina Opportunity Scholarship
Yes.
site went live this week and crashed
Yeah.
like 15 minutes after midnight because so many people were getting on to try to avail themselves as Opportunity Scholarships. So you hate that it crashed,
Yeah.
but it's also pretty fantastic. There's so much interest in people going out there to try to grab some Opportunity Scholarships.
Yeah, I know. So the Opportunity Scholarship, remember, is the school voucher program basically for all North Carolinians, and it's the application started February 1st. It goes through the end of the month. I do want to warn you, if you're one of those frustrated parents who the website crashed on, you do not get extra credit for turning in your homework early. So if you get your application in any time during this month, you're going to be okay. So one does not preclude the other. And they will award the money as long as the money lasts.
Mhm.
So we'll see how this works out. They will look at the lower income families first. And then once those are awarded out, and if there's money left over, they'll continue to go. There is no income cap left on it, and it's up to, I think, $4,000 if you're at the highest income level for reimbursement of the school tuition for a private school. And there is an income verification thing. I actually got a text from a principal at a local private school, and she was a little concerned because when you're going through it, it looked like you could just put any dollar amount for your income. But there will be a verification process. So make sure that you're honest about that, because you don't want to get awarded the scholarship and then get kicked out, because that would, not be great. So make sure to be honest on those things. And yeah, so we'll see how this all works. It's interesting to me. Before, there was actually money left over in the Opportunity Scholarship Program. And so now it seems like there's a great need out there, and we'll see how it fits.
Well, very nice. And then the other thing you saw, which I found fascinating, UNCG doing something that you don't normally see colleges doing.
I am so proud of them. I really, really am. So UNCG is the University of North Carolina at Greensboro, and they have a strong tradition and been around a long time, and they are really good at some of their majors. But they decided they're not good at like 6 of them. And so as the chancellor, I applaud him. He is actually toning and pruning out those majors that are underutilized or they're not excelling in. And in other words, I think physics was one. That's just not their niche, right? So they're not going to spend the extra money and try to get recruitment and to keep and retain professors on a program that is not accelerating or furthering their students. There's a few others that they are doing that they're either making as a minor or they're reducing it. I think this is exactly the type of leadership that is needed in the university system. And I applaud this chancellor for doing it. I mean, I love my beloved 49ers.
Oh, yeah. Go Niners.
We're going to the game tomorrow.
Yes, we are.
We are. But in my college experience, I remember there were some majors out there that I thought, how are you going to get a job after college with that thing? You know what I mean? Like, what are you doing here? Or are you just prepping to go somewhere else? I mean, what's going on? And I think it's really smart of them to pare down and hone in on what they're good at and try to be, instead of being good at everything, try to be good at what you can and use and focus your resources to be the top-notch university in those fields.
No, 100%. I mean, I think colleges a lot of times have, the more programs they add, the more money they get and things like that. And really, they got into this thing of, trying to be all things to all people. And you just can't do that. And so really honing in and focusing on what you do well and cultivating the students that want to learn those things, be in those majors, pursue those careers, I think it's fantastic.
I do too.
Because then you build a reputation of being, hey, if you're going to be if you want to be a physics major and like that, UNCG, doesn't have it. But you know what? If you want to be a teacher, if you want to be this, that's the school you want to go to because they have cultivated and built and invested in those programs to be really good at them.
And I think UNC Pembroke does a really good job of that. And Elizabeth City State University has done something really cool. Do you know that you can go to a UNC campus and actually get your pilot's license?
I did not know that.
You can.
Interesting.
If you want to be a pilot, Elizabeth City State University has a aeronautics program, and you can get your pilot's license through them. That's also a college promise. So they have a level tuition of $500 and per semester. So I'm pulling this off the top of my head. So someone feel free to call in and correct me if I'm misstated that, but
or don't
just don't just let me go on as if I know what I'm talking about,
or use the Google machine
but so actually Senator Warren Daniel, his daughter had graduated from that program there, and she's a licensed flight instructor now and is absolutely like living her best life. I think that type of specialization of a campus resources is phenomenal. And
absolutely.
I applaud UNC Greensboro's chancellor, who was censored by his staff, and all the other things. But good for him. It's just leadership, and I applaud that.
Yep. Sometimes it gets messy.
Yeah.
Speaking of messy, Rated X now. So you got a couple. You got a couple good ones in here.
Yeah. This one. No. This. Okay. Rated X is a segment where we go through the weekly correspondence that I have, and the mean things. And David's already got his finger on the button.
I am honed on the button.
The mean things that sometimes people will say back to us, and usually it's through Facebook or in this or Twitter, but in this instance, one was on X and the other one was on an email.
Okay.
So email has been proven to be the most fruitful of all.
Yeah.
Lately, I mean, I'm surprised that.
Yeah, you get some haterade on my email.
I know.
They like to come at you.
I know, and most of it is received on a public platform, and I'm always concerned. I'm like, what? I mean, this is public record, dude. Like you or lady, you this could be seen for everybody, but you choose to do it. Okay, so this one is I attended a fundraiser for a North Carolina Senate candidate in the Raleigh area. Her name is Vicky Harry.
Was it spelled the right way?
No, it was spelled her way.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't spelled my way. It was spelled her way, and she's actually a true Vicky. She's not a Victoria like me, so she's like legit, but Vicky with an I. And so there's a picture of the Republican women in the Senate that was supporting her, which was myself, Senator Amy Galey, Representative Aaron Pere out of the Raleigh area, and Senator Joyce Krovic. And so just Representative Pere had mentioned there's a packed house tonight in support of her friend and grateful to support, and tagged us all. So this is a collective hate.
Yeah.
A collective hate.
Collective hate.
Jessica Steele Twitter Stark mentioned Clan wife rally.
Clan wife rally.
Clan wife rally.
Wow.
Wow.
Did Jessica Still Twitter Stark have a Ukraine flag?
No, she was plain. No emojis.
Have we run off the Ukraine contingent?
I really
feel
think
like we may have. See, that kind of disappoints me.
I said
Because nobody cares like the Ukraine flag people.
and peaceful.
Yes,
peace,
and peace,
Ukraine. Yes, I know. No, none of that good stuff.
Well, that hurts my heart a little bit.
I really have. We got to get back in session so I can.
Yeah, you got to do some more things people can hate on. You got to do some more things people hate on.
Well, not for this one. Now, this one was. You ready?
Yep.
Okay. This one is a newsletter that I sent out, and it is not from a legislative office. I have another one that comes out, so I was grateful for the help of that. But so the Sawyer Post comes out, and there's a fella named Gator.
Gator
is a hater.
Gator, okay. Yes.
Gator is definitely a hater. But on Friday, January 26th at 3:00 p.m., Gator wrote back, you
could say whore.
I cannot. That just
You
sounds
could have
like
said that.
dirty.
Wow. Wilbur, man, come on. That's like, wow, man, that's harsh. What'd you do to this poor guy?
No.
He asked you out at some point in time way back, and like he's been holding on to that grudge for a while, waiting to get the Sawyer Post just so he can send that back to you. That's wow.
I know.
This is so mean.
I know.
But that's good. But honestly, I honestly think we're building a brand. And I think you're going to start to see more people in hopes of being on our show and being referenced. Because I'm willing to bet that this guy listens to the show.
Okay.
And I'm willing to bet that he has got the podcast ready to go, and he's going to be sending this out to his boys.
Okay.
And it's be like, I got mentioned on the radio. It's going to be fantastic. Look, they talked about me on the radio. I guarantee you. So that's what we're building here.
You know what we need to do? You know who probably has like a plethora of all of these, way better than me?
Who's that?
Is Representative Cotham.
Oh,
and she's in our district.
Yeah, I'm sure.
We should have her on. I'm going to text her and have her on one day and let her read hers one day.
Yeah, I'm not so sure that not just be a sustained beep. I'm not even sure like some of the stuff that she's had to have thrown at her.
I got it mild compared to her, and actually Representative Perret as well. I mean, they both take it on the chin pretty hard. So maybe I should have them come in and enjoy some.
Maybe maybe we need we need to have legislators send in their best hate.
We could have a best of show.
Yes, we could have a best of the hate, and we can have them send in some of their most favorite hate thrown their way.
Oh my gosh!
And we can spend some time going through it.
Yeah. Okay. I'll try to pull it together. I'll see what I can do.
That would be fantastic.
Yeah. I think I need an assistant just to do this show because I'm the week goes by so fast. Part of my hip hurting, the age part of it, I feel like Thursday gets here before I realize that it's Monday again.
Yeah, it really
time
does.
Moves so fast in these places.
It really does.
Not fast enough though for the election to be over for the primary.
No, we're almost there.
Oh no!
Any good plans for the weekend besides going to the 49er game?
Going to the 49er.
So you're
basketball game.
You're not going to the border like everybody else?
Oh Lord!
Well, with your hip, with your hip, you can. Did you say you'll run for the border of Taco Bell?
Yeah.
Well played.
Thank you.
Well played. The shameless plug right there.
I know.
Maybe some ad dollars coming in off that.
Tomorrow, if you guys want to, and you're in the Charlotte region, we have a hot basketball game, 49ers and ECU. Looking forward to go see that. I have not
Niners on a 6-game win streak, I believe now. 7-game win streak right now.
Yeah, and I'm getting ready. It's a whiteout, so wear your white, and let's go and support the home team. Go Niners.
Well, you are a clan wife.
Oh.
So obviously that just wow, that could not have gone better. And we didn't set that up. I'm so happy we did not even orchestrate that. That was fantastic. That was amazing.
That was good.
See, that's what we do here. That's the kind of quality we bring.
This is the type of radio professionalism that we bring to the airwaves.
You know what? You're always going to go back to that, right?
Yes, I am.
I committed to stop saying it, and now you keep doing it.
That's what we're going to do.
Everybody have a great weekend. Thanks.
Thank you.
The new 105.9, 100.7 WSIC.